Hey Dragon Slayers, today's video is about how hunger isn't a constant barrage. It comes in waves. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. Let's get started. So there's no denying that you'll experience hunger during fasting. But it's important to remember that hunger is not as terrible an experience as we expect it to be. We often imagine that hunger will build and build until it's unbearable, and that we need to stuff ourselves with Krispy Kreme donuts. However, this is not the case at all. The secret is to understand that hunger comes in waves. You just need to ride out the waves. Think back to a time when you skipped lunch. Perhaps you were caught up in a meeting and couldn't get away. At first, you got hungry. The hunger built and built, but there was nothing to be done. But what happened after about an hour or so? The hunger entirely dissipated. The wave had passed. What's the best way to endure the waves of hunger during fasting? Drink green tea or coffee is often enough. By the time you're finished, the hunger has passed and you've gone up to the next thing to do that day. Hunger is not a continuously growing phenomena. It will build up, peak, and then dissipate. And all you have to do is ignore it. It will certainly return, but knowing that it will pass once again gives you the power and confidence to handle it. This even applies to extended fasting periods. Hunger comes quite strongly during the first 1 or 2 days of fasting, generally peaking on day 2. After that, the hunger just subsides and then goes away. Some people speculate that the ketones generated during fat burning are actively suppressing appetite. Dr. Ian Gilliland, he's an expert in endocrinology, wrote about his experiences with fasting patients that a feeling of well-being is certainly possible and happens often, and may account to some amount of euphoria. We did not encounter complaints of hunger after the first day. People weren't hungry. Actually, they felt euphoric during 14 days of fasting. Some people felt so good during fasting that they wanted to continue past 14 days. In fact, the absence of hunger during extended fasting is a consistent finding throughout the scientific literature on fasting, as well as in Dr. Fung's own program. When people feel they can go beyond 24 hours of fasting, we sometimes advise them to try 3 to 7 days full of fasting. This sounds completely counterintuitive. If you can't go 1 day, how can you go 7? This hack works because the extended fasting gives people the chance to experience how hunger can disappear without eating as the body learns how to metabolize its own fat. The long fast rapidly acclimates the body to fasting. Once they get over the first 1 to 2 days, hunger starts to disappear and they become reassured that they are not overwhelmed by hunger. It is this part of fasting, but it's part of the fasting, but it's not an insurmountable part. How can people fast for days without being hungry? It comes down to the fact that hunger is not determined by not eating for certain periods of time. Rather, it is a hormone signal. It does not come about simply because the stomach is empty. When you avoid natural stimuli to hunger, such as the sight and smell of food, as well as the conditioned stimuli to hunger, specific meal times, movies, ball games, any event where you normally eat and have learned to expect food, you help avoid that hormonal signal. Fasting helps to break all conditioned stimuli and thus helps reduce, not enhance, hunger. Hunger is a state of mind, not a state of the stomach. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. And remember, guys, that together
will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.